If you have a backlog, this video is a sign that you can tackle it along with me. So let's go over all the games I played this month. Hello, welcome back to Cozy Bichota. My name is Natalia if you're new here, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about all the games that I played in the month of January from my backlog. Now, I have really tried to make a commitment to tackling on my backlog and avoiding the purchase of brand new games unless it's a game that I have been highly anticipating and waiting for its release and then getting it, rather than being sucked into the hype of all the games that are releasing. And since I started that mentality, and whenever you are towards the end of a year and getting into a brand new year, it's easier to make goals for yourself. I was able to play through 4 games on my backlog this month. All the games on this list, I was able to finish in under 10 hours. I think the most was a little bit over 6 hours. So let's go through them in chronological order of completion. To kick off the year, I decided to play Arietta of Spirits because it was a game that I have been itching to play and was staring back at me in my Steam library. Now, Arietta of Spirits graphics is what drew me in right away, and after reading the premise of the game, I knew I wanted to play this one. Arietta of Spirits has a beautiful pixel art graphic style, which is my all-time favorite style, so that was the first sign that I was going to like this game. It has that old school Pokemon and Zelda type vibes with the graphics, the music, and the way you progress through the world. I will say that it had more of that old school Zelda-like fighting mechanics, which immediately drew me in. There is a deep storyline where you inherit this land on an island where your grandmother used to live and passed away, and now it's your job to unlock the real story of what happened here and where these spirits are coming from. So when a game has a good, meaningful story, I am immediately captivated. Arietta of Spirits is a fun, short adventure that hooks you in and is worth it at a sales price, but not worth it at full price, especially since the Switch is way more expensive than the Steam price. Another thing to note was that I was not a fan of the lack of the map to guide you. This is where the old school gaming mechanics come into play, which I understand to keep with the aesthetic, but also got super frustrating unless I remembered where everything was. Overall, Arietta of Spirits was a phenomenal game that I got to play, and one that I'm really glad that I started the year with, and one that I do recommend. Next, we have Untitled Goose game, and after playing Little Kitty Big City, which a lot of people said gave Untitled Goose game vibes with the chaoticness of it, and after seeing some of the gameplay for Untitled Goose game, I understood why. Playing it definitely helped connect that feeling. Untitled Goose game has super charming graphics and is the only game out of the games from this month that is not pixel art style. So if you're not a big fan of pixel art, maybe you'll be drawn more into this game. The list of chaotic things to complete is varying and never repeated. I never found myself completing the same task or following a similar pattern. Rather, there was a lot of creativity on how to cause chaos, whether it was stealing a hat or stealing this fruit or maybe having to hide things. It was really fun to get through. I love the lack of dialogue and that this game had more of a focus on the adventure and the story being told through actions and sounds. So it felt very Tom and Jerry-like in the fact that you're just watching everything play out and you know what's happening and you don't need words to enhance it. Solving each puzzle was not too difficult, but challenging enough that I did not feel I was zooming through the game. However, I did find it a bit frustrating to play on the Switch Lite at times, with the buttons getting tiring to press. So at times I would have to zoom in a little bit or zoom out of the map, at the same time wanting my little goose character to run around. So my fingers did get really tired. And because I got tired, it took a little bit away from the experience. Untitled Goose game is a great game at a sales price, but definitely not worth it at a full price. Even though once you finish the main storyline, there are more puzzles that you can complete and a little bit more chaos, I still don't think the full price of the game is worth it. Next up, we have Chicken Journey, which was a game that I got a really long time ago, played a little bit, got distracted with new releases and other games, and never picked up again. And this tends to be my habit, which is why I have been really intentional about wanting to get through games this year, and picking it up again was the right move. Chicken Journey also has those beautiful pixel art graphics with really vibrant colors, so I was really captivated right away. It's got this quirky and entertaining storyline of figuring out what came first, the chicken or the egg. I love the quests in this game as they added to the story and the fun characters, and I absolutely loved the puzzles, especially because some were actually complex and I had to think for a bit, so it really made me appreciate the intricacies and effort put into designing the puzzles, and platforming was involved in the puzzles, but it was actually really fun. I would classify this game more as a light platformer, so I appreciated the various save and checkpoints, so you did not feel like you had to redo an entire puzzle or section, which is where I can get really annoyed with platformers overall. On the downside, there was not really a helpful map in this game. You really had to remember the characters and places, so it felt more of a side scroller in that feeling, and the only time you had any sort of map were at the different travel points, but even then the map was not super helpful. Chicken Journey was a very satisfying game and worth it for the price that it's at, but if you can get it on a sale, even better. And last on the list is Evan's Remains, which was a game that I had been itching to get, and when I finally got it, I was really excited to play. What really sold me on this game was the demo, so definitely check out the demo to see if you really enjoy this type of puzzle mechanic and the storyline. Evan's Remains is yet another beautiful pixel art game, and you can tell I really love pixel art. It has a very deep and dark story combined with a very light color scheme, which I found very fascinating. This is another game with puzzles, and I'm sensing a bit of a trend with short games and puzzles, and I really like them. When games have a lot of puzzle mechanics to them or a heavy emphasis on puzzles, I actually really appreciate when they're on the shorter side, so I don't burn out. So this game's length was perfect for the amount of puzzles in it. What I absolutely loved about this game was the ability to skip a puzzle if I got really stuck and did not want to rage quit or ruin the progression with the game. This is a great feature to have in games if someone doesn't want to have a game ruined by being stuck on a puzzle or having to look up the answers. The puzzles are more of the actual gameplay mechanic, but I'll say that the heart and the soul of this game is really where the story is. So if you're craving a mixture between gameplay and reading, this game might be worth it for you. This game is also worth the full price, but great if you can get it on sale. Every game on this list goes on sale multiple times a year. I have always been able to catch a sale for one of them and snatch it right up when it is on sale. So if you're thinking of getting any one of these, maybe just wait a little longer for a sale to come along and then snatch a game. My backlog is huge, so I love being able to get through it, and these shorter games have really helped me accomplish my backlog journey. Short games also offer me a little bit of an escape, but also an intentionality behind self-care, because I know the game is going to be short. I can set aside time for it and dedicate my time fully so I can enjoy myself and take a little bit of a break from the chaoticness that is life. In the comments below, I want to know if you've played any of these games or if any of them are in your backlog at the moment. Let me know how you're tackling your backlog or how we can keep each other accountable. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please consider giving it a like. If you like cozy and gaming content, consider subscribing. And from one bichota to another, stay cozy and see you next time. Adios!